Welcome back to Indianomics. My very special guest is Dr. Reddy, former RBI Governor and Chairman of the 14th Finance Commission. Well, Dr. Reddy, what's your opinion of the monetary policy framework? Will this ensure better inflation targeting and more fiscal discipline?
So first let me repeat what N.T. Ramarao told me once. He said when the media asks questions, they are paid to ask questions. I am not paid to answer.
Okay, so I'm expecting evasion.
No, not really, not necessarily. You see, I would not go into the monetary policy or anything, but it is appropriate perhaps to say what are the possible implications or risks to the fiscal management of the next 5 years as a result of the possible change in framework in the monetary policy and public debt. Normally it is assumed that an independent monetary policy with inflation targeting will be successful if there is no financial repression or if the transmission is smooth and the fiscal position has to be strong. Actually, if you see recent writings, including by Professor Goddard, when the debt to GDP ratio is high, when the fiscal deficit is high, then the coordination between the monetary and fiscal authorities becomes extremely critical. And therefore, way forward for the type of consolidation that is happening, then the issue is the sequencing. So therefore, I would say that any arrangement that is being considered has to be seen in the light of importance of sequencing and the risks of wrong sequencing. On the totality of
your sequence is that first the union government should achieve the fiscal targets and then we should embark on a monetary
even the
policy
fiscal targets, one, achieve the fiscal targets, and second, be in a position to finance its borrowings without in the market.
Without forcing the states to, forcing the banks to put 22% of their deposits.
Then you are not dependent. You don't become an independent debt office because you declare your independence. You will be able to raise the money independently, if I may put it.
Okay.
Now,
so the monetary policy framework would have had a better chance of success if it had come after the FRBM succeeded?
I'm sure this will be taken account. All I am saying is, monetary policy framework and monetary independence and accountability in isolation, I think all over the world everybody agrees that it should be in sync with an appropriate fiscal policy. So you have to make sure that the sequencing and the transition is very well crafted.
But the fact that they have signed to put their signature and accepted the framework would also be a weight on the central government to deliver on the fiscal plan.
Absolutely, that is the hope. So there are two things, that's a hope. If it happens, wonderful. If it doesn't happen, what are the risks is all I'm saying. Having gone through, always what we do is that in any policy we examine, but what are the chances? It may be 1%, 2% that we fail. If we fail, how serious are the consequences? Okay, now that's one. Second is that what happens to the debt of the states. But the whole issue is that the debt of the state, if the center is managing the debt to independent debt office, then will each state also follow an independent debt office? Or do you expect the states to trust the government of India to hand over the function to the government of India debt office?
What about the Monetary Policy Committee? Now that the framework has been accepted, what would be an ideal Monetary Policy Committee?
I wouldn't know anything but...
Should they be government nominees, or should it be?
No, there are a lot of models that there should be government. For instance, at the SEG2 board, which is considered independent, there are sitting government officials on the board, isn't it?
Yes.
So, whereas in the RBI it's not there. So, but the Indian situation is different. But the global practices...
The global practice is that there wouldn't be government.
There may be government... No, the nomination of the members, if it's under law provided, it is provided. So, you have got various practices of representation, of nomination by the government, by the cabinet, or then you have the other central bank governors composition ex officio, then whether it's voting or not, consensus or non-consensus, disclosure of what everybody said. So that in future account. All these issues, there are different practices, there is enough literature on that.
The ideal committee would be one that is chosen by the Reserve Bank itself, the Reserve Bank Governor?
No, that's what, but let me put it differently. let me put it differently. From an analytical angle, what is the role of a monetary policy committee if the central bank is only a monetary authority? Is very clear.
Yes.
Governor is responsible for monetary policy. You don't deliver, you go, this is how it is. If, let us say, the central bank is responsible for some other thing, then if he does monetary policy well, he can continue, not well. And so the accountability, is it only for one or for others? Does it mean the others are subordinate? Second, the relationship between the government and the central bank, when the central bank is doing multiple functions, will depend on not only monetary policy, on all of us. Therefore, you will be jumbling up. These are the two. Three, and the most important thing at the moment, I think India is unique. I don't think there is anywhere else in the world, if I am not mistaken. The governor can be dismissed without reason. In other countries, where there is an accountability, there is a tenure.
There is a
tenure.
Okay.
Accountability can't be one way. Isn't it?
Yes.
So in other countries, if you are looking at other countries, they will say you will be there for 5 years. You can't be removed without reason. And that reason is you don't do the monetary policy, then you will go out. And here is a situation where the governor can be sent out one evening for no reason. And then again, so what I am saying is you have to take an integrated view of the role of a central bank. So if you decide it is a central bank, it will be only monetary authority, the governor will be accountable, but otherwise there will be a security of tenure, then there is one bargain. But the current debate is not easy because there are no parallels, either in theory or in practice.
Okay.
When there are no parallels in theory and practice, you only talk in a very...
You walk alone.
Fluid, no. You talk in a fluid manner as I am doing.
Fair enough. No, I take your point that we have to develop other institutions and conventions. The other point I want to ask about the current central bank and public finance debate is that the government securities market is in all probability getting shifted to SEBI. Is that wise? Any comments on that?
Again, I think as long as the government securities
yes.
are raised through market mechanisms, generally market, then the regulator, it's a good thing. But the point is that let the government first, I would put it, let the government first raise the money on its
without financial repression, without putting a gun to the...
So see, if you want, like other countries, if you think there's a good practice in other countries, a good practice in other countries, when there's a particular level of debt, there's a particular level of... But here, and in addition, the public sector banks also are owned by the government. So it's a unique situation, but I'm sure the government is aware of all these circumstances.
Dr. Reddy, the 14th Finance Commission has not got enough laurels for some of the other recommendations it has made, notably in electricity. And I mean, one of the big issues has been that state discoms, power distribution companies have perennially been running high deficits because the state governments don't cough up their share of the subsidies. You've tried to plug that?
This time the FSC was asked to look, earlier the Finance Commission was often asked to look at the state government problems. But this time, fortunately, the term of reference said pricing of public utilities in general. That means both the central and the states. So naturally, when you look at the center, you look at Air India, you look at railways. So therefore, when you compute, it's very difficult to say that this problem of government not funding, subsidizing public utilities is not restricted to one tier of government established. Therefore, the Finance Commission took the view that what is fiscally important is to ensure that A, there is an independent regulator, B, for all sectors including railways, etc. Please make sure with the public utility there is an independent regulator. Please make sure that the independent regulator recommendations are implemented. 2. 3, whatever you want to regulate, you must measure. You are subsidizing without measuring.
Okay.
Free subsidy, free power means that at least even free power, how much you are giving? Every free power all also are water.
So 100% metering of power and water.
So limited point is, these are the preconditions for, from a fiscal point of view, we cannot take a view whether something is good or bad, but please measure so that we know for what the taxpayers' money is going and to whom it's going. That is the main recommendation.
Well spoken, sir. I do hope that many of the recommendations of the Finance Commission are implemented. That will be the best thing that can happen to the public health, public economic health of India.
I hope this interview by you would help in the process.